go. What's going on, boys and girls? My Gamians of all ages. Welcome to the show. I'm the Beard, and today we're taking a look at Destiny 2. All right. Yes, sir. Now, guys, what we're going to do today is I am going to talk a little bit about not just my first impressions, but whether or not this game is worth the buy and worth your time. You will get an honest review from a gamer's point of view. My Gamian review, if you will. And so without further ado, let's get right to this. Now, I want to start by saying that, well, first off, I am in no way affiliated with Bungie or any distribution of the game. I have absolutely no stake in their stocks. You get the picture. I felt the need to do this as, right now there's a whole lot of hype surrounding it. Now, I did not initially want to pick up the game. I was one of those that bought into the hype of Destiny 1, pre-ordered it, waited for it to launch, played it non-stop for about the first week. I experienced what many of you did. It was a very disappointing time. We all had such high expectations. The hype was real surrounding Destiny 1 and everything to do with it. We all thought it was going to be an MMO, and instead it had MMO-like aspects to the game, etc., etc. We all know where that went. So I was a little concerned, just a little bit concerned, that Destiny 2 was going to be along the same lines, that we were going to have issues, and I also thought maybe I'll give them a week or two to work out any bugs. However, I have some very good friends that play the game, and one of my said very good friends talked me into it. Now, I was going to wait for the release on the computer. It comes out for PC in October, towards the end of the month. I believe it's the 25th, it's the 28th. Don't quote me on that. You can certainly check out Bungie's website for a definitive date as to when it is to release on PC. Because I am mostly a PC gamer these days. Now, currently what you are watching is Xbox One. I've had an Xbox One. I used to be a big console gamer. But, you know, PC, Master Race, call it what you like. I am a supporter of the consoles. I think that they are fantastic. The pick up and go aspect is great. And so I thought, you know what? I'll give it a try. And what a great way to spend a little time with a buddy that you haven't hung out with in a while than to go out there and try and save the galaxy. Yes, sir. So I got into it. I picked it up just yesterday. Depending when you're watching this game, it was the day after release. So they had a little bit of a head start on me. So I got their point of view on what they felt about it. It kind of helped things along. You might notice I just picked up an exotic engram right there. That's fantastic. That's fantastic. We'll talk about that in a moment. And so we started playing, and I got into it last night, and right off the hop, I was immersed in the story and the gameplay that Destiny 2 has to offer. I feel Bungie delivered on all fronts regarding the gameplay. It had a real polished feel to it. The glide motion is fantastic. The controls are intuitive. I do not have any complaints whatsoever about the gameplay and about the immersion. The story pulls you in. Within the first, I would say, 15 minutes, I was craving more. You have a certain depth of field perception, this feeling of actually being there. You step out onto a promenade, and there's this great big warship strafing by, laying down fire, and you're in the middle of the firefight, and aliens are dropping around you everywhere. It is definitely something to be experienced. Now, as for the actual visuals, since we've just touched on them, there has been a little bit of concern surrounding the fact that the game will only run at 30 FPS.
Say what?
Now, with games like Battlefield 1 that have a whole lot more going on running at 60 FPS, a lot of gamers have asked the almighty question of why. Well, they have their reasons, but let me tell you this. Thus far, it has not taken away from my gameplay. I have thoroughly enjoyed it, and I have not had any issues. Having said that, I haven't made many videos. In fact, this is the first video on it. So I haven't had a chance really to see any frame rate drop with screen capture and so on and so forth. And coming from a creator's point of view, is it something that I'm going to want to spend time on and put videos out? Will the videos translate exactly how good it looks and feels when you're actually playing it? So that is a valid question and concern from my end. But for you as the average gamer, I would say that for the most part, you will not notice the difference in the 30 frame per second. You may notice it if you're looking for it, but I did not feel that it took away from the overall experience. I'm hoping that down the line that they can adjust that and give us the 60 FPS that all of us so long for in this beautiful game, especially considering a lot of the counterpart games that seem to have more going on at any one given time, with more assets on screen, etc. But there it is. I felt the need to touch base on that because I have seen an awful lot about it in and around the forums and even some of the videos that are already out. So moving along, guys, I want to talk a little bit about the storyline. Now, something that Destiny 2 really delivers on is the immersion, the feel that you are actually part of something bigger and greater. The way they set it up, and I don't want to put any spoilers out, but it truly feels like you're not alone as you come across other players. While doing your missions, you will run through areas that there might be a public event going on, and you will see players. You don't feel as if you're shuttled into an instance, locked away from everybody else, and that's that. I was quite surprised to run across other players while doing one of my storylines. It was quite a surprise. So I thought that was a really nice touch to it. Now, I mentioned there about the public events. Public events are also something that really give you that feel of being there. You might be in the middle of doing a mission, all of a sudden a public event just pops right on top of you. These monsters drop down and all of a sudden you're in a firefight trying to save your life. Holy man, is it something. So with the public events jumping around you, popping around you, giving you that immersion, at the same time, they are very beneficial, and early game you have the options to pick up, as you saw earlier, and I made comment to, exotic engrams. Now, although you can only wear one exotic at a time, and you'll see in this picture right here, I have the chest piece on, which I picked up from a public event. It gives you a little bit more versatility with your gear. RNG is real in this game, as it is in almost all games. However, what they've done in Destiny 2 is a real improvement from Destiny 1. They've changed the algorithm. Now, if you had let's say you had multiple characters and you had your best gear spread between all those characters, previously when you had something dropped, it was based on what you had equipped. However, now they have fixed that. If you own it and it's on another character, it all helps. It is based off of not just your gear, but your overall, I believe it would be your overall playtime experience through the game, because the gear that you get is relevant to the level that you're at when it drops. So I thought that was a good improvement, if you will, and it certainly gives you a lot more hope when dealing with the likes of RNG. But the gear is there to be had, and it's just a matter of getting out and finding it. Now, along with the great PvE aspect of this game comes the Crucible, which was added in Destiny 1. It gave the players a chance to PvP and test themselves out against others. Because let's face it, who doesn't like killing your friends, all right, or being killed by them? But it certainly is a very enjoyable experience. There is gear, much like Destiny 1, that you can obtain through your Crucible vendor. There is purpose to doing the PvP, and it is a great way to pass the time and just kind of mix things up. So in my opinion, Destiny is delivering on all fronts at the time of launch. I have not yet hit the end game, and this is simply from my perspective. I'm sure some of you may have your own opinions on it, and some of you may already be at max level. If it's possible, I'm sure it's happened already. So what there is for content at this point for the end game, well, that's not what this video is about, because I have not got there, and I do not plan to comment on anything that I've simply read and not experienced for myself. Do I think you should buy this game? Well, let's answer that question. First, I have a question to ask you. Did you play Destiny 1? Did you like Destiny? Now, I'm not just referring to when it first came out. Did you give it a chance after they put all the time and effort into it? Because some would say, although it was one of the biggest disappointments in gaming history, it was also one of the biggest turnarounds. Bungie went to town, and they put a lot of effort into it, and the end result, in my opinion, was a very solid game. If you liked any aspect of Destiny 1, I would say that Destiny 2 certainly has something to offer for you. If you like first-person shooter games, it certainly stacks up. With the RPG elements to it, it gives you a sense of purpose and a reason to keep pushing and rerunning some of those missions just to get that all-elusive piece of gear. So from my perspective, Destiny 2 does deliver. In my mind, it is worth the buy. I think that it should be given the chance. It is a franchise that I don't see ending anytime soon. It's Bungie's flagship model of a game, and it is addictive. Now, is it worth your time playing? Well, if you agree with me that it's worth your time buying, of course you're going to want to spend some time into playing it. And at this point, with roughly about 10 hours into the game, I can't wait to finish this video and get right back to it, I've got to be honest. However, I cannot comment on the end game, and I want to make that abundantly clear because I do not want to mislead anybody. For the price, it is a premium game. I think it has the amount of playability, replayability, and content currently there to warrant the price. And I would love to know what you feel. If you bought the game, have you played the game? What do you think of the game? Guys, I hope this has been helpful. I am the Beard with Kaplow Entertainment, and from time to time, we like to do reviews on the bigger games and the things that are happening around the world. All those things that get the gamers' attention. If you like anything you've seen or heard here today, please start that like train. It helps out the video more than you could know. And of course, comment and share. Sharing is caring, and we care about our friends. So go ahead and share that up. And if you haven't by now, please consider hitting the subscribe button. We have more videos posted almost daily in the gamer genre with Let's Plays, how-tos, featured content, and the sorts. Everything gaming related on the channel. So check it out. Let me know what you think, guys. And until next time, I'm the Beard. I want to thank you for joining me. And keep gaming, my gaming friends. All right.